Far away from the noisy cities, surrounded by tall palm trees and red earth roads, stood a peaceful village called Umuofo. Every morning the village woke slowly to the sound of roosters crowing. Women swept their compounds while the smell of fried akara and yam drifted through the cool morning air. Children walked to school along dusty paths, laughing and chasing one another, while farmers prepared their tools for the day's work. Life in Umuofo was simple, but it was full of stories. And one of those stories was about two people whose lives would change forever. In one small compound lived a young woman named Adaeze and her widowed mother. Their house had mud walls and a zinc roof that made loud drumming sounds whenever the rain fell. Life was not always easy for them, but Adaeze never complained. She was known in the village for her kindness and her bright smile. Every morning before the sun rose, she woke up early to help her mother prepare food for their small roadside cafe near the village market. Villagers loved coming there not only because the food was delicious, but also because Adaeze welcomed everyone warmly. She greeted farmers, traders, and travelers as if they were family. But Adaeze carried a bigger dream in her heart. She wanted to become a successful businesswoman someday. Late at night, after the cafe closed and the village became quiet, she sat on a wooden chair outside their house and studied business lessons on her small phone using the slow village internet. Her mother often watched her and said proudly, "Patience and hard work always bring good things." Adaeze believed those words deeply. One rainy afternoon, dark clouds gathered over Umuofo. The wind began to blow strongly, bending the palm trees as thunder rolled across the sky. Heavy rain started falling. Inside the cafe, Adaeze was arranging cups of tea on a wooden table when suddenly the door burst open. A tall young man rushed inside to escape the rain. Water dripped from his hair and clothes, and he carried a laptop bag over his shoulder. Adaeze quickly grabbed a towel and handed it to him. "You must have run very fast," she said with a gentle laugh. The young man smiled as he wiped the rain from his face. "Yes, the rain almost defeated me today." His name was Chinedu. Chinedu had grown up in Umuofo many years ago but had left the village to study computer science in the city. After finishing his studies, he had been working as a software developer. Now he had returned to the village for a short visit. He ordered a cup of tea and sat near the window while rain poured heavily outside. But something about Adaeze caught his attention. Maybe it was her kindness. Maybe it was the way she spoke. Or maybe it was simply destiny. The next day, Chinedu returned to the cafe. And the next day after that. Soon it became a habit. Sometimes he brought his laptop and worked while drinking tea. Other times he stayed simply to talk with Adaeze. They spoke about many things. Chinedu told her stories about life in the city, about technology companies, and about his dream of building his own software business one day. Adaeze told him about village life, about helping her mother, and about her dream of becoming a successful businesswoman. Chinedu admired her determination. Adaeze admired his intelligence. Their conversations grew longer every day. Sometimes they laughed so much that other customers turned to look at them with curiosity. Slowly, their friendship began to grow into something deeper. In the evenings, they started taking walks through Umuofo. The red earth roads glowed softly under the golden sunsets. Children played football in open fields while elders sat beneath trees discussing village matters. Chinedu and Adaeze often bought roasted corn from a roadside seller and walked slowly through the village while talking. One evening, Chinedu asked her, "Do you ever want to leave Umuofo?" Adaeze thought quietly for a moment. "I want to see the world," she said. "But I also want to build something here." Chinedu nodded. "That's a beautiful dream." That evening both of them felt something change between them. Their hearts had begun to understand what their words had not yet spoken. One night, under a bright full moon, they sat together beneath a large mango tree near the cafe. The village was quiet except for the sound of crickets singing in the grass. Chinedu looked at Adaeze seriously. "Adaeze," he said softly, "meeting you has been the best thing that has happened to me in a long time." Adaeze felt her heart beating faster. "I feel the same way," she admitted. That night their friendship quietly turned into love. But happiness sometimes comes with challenges. One afternoon, Chinedu received an important phone call. A large technology company in the city wanted him to work with them. It was an opportunity that could change his life forever. But it meant leaving Umuofo. Leaving Adaeze. That evening he told her the news as they sat beneath the mango tree again. For a moment neither of them spoke. Finally Adaeze said quietly, "You should go." Chinedu looked surprised. "You worked very hard for this opportunity," she continued. "But what about us?" he asked. Adaeze smiled gently. "If love is real, distance cannot destroy it." A few weeks later, Chinedu left for the city. Life became busy for both of them. Chinedu worked long hours developing software projects and building his career. Back in Umuofo, Adaeze continued helping her mother run the cafe. But she also began something new. Using her phone and social media, she started selling clothes online. At first the business was small, but slowly it began to grow. Every night Adaeze and Chinedu spoke on video calls. Sometimes the internet connection was poor. Sometimes they were both too tired to talk for long. But their love remained strong. Months passed. Chinedu's career continued to grow, and Adaeze's clothing business became more successful than she ever imagined. Soon she was sending packages to customers in different cities. People in Umuofo began to admire her determination. But even with success, Adaeze sometimes missed Chinedu deeply. Then one warm evening in December, after closing the cafe, Adaeze turned around and saw someone standing near the gate. Her heart skipped. It was Chinedu. He had returned to Umuofo. He walked slowly toward her with a smile on his face. Then he stopped, reached into his pocket, and knelt down. People nearby began to watch. "Adaeze," he said, "our story began in this village. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you." He opened a small ring box. "Will you marry me?" Tears filled Adaeze's eyes. "Yes," she whispered happily. Villagers nearby began clapping and cheering. Even Adaeze's mother wiped tears of joy from her eyes. Months later, the entire village of Umuofo gathered for their wedding celebration. Traditional drums filled the air as people danced joyfully in colorful clothes. Adaeze and Chinedu stood together smiling, knowing that their journey had only just begun. Their love had survived distance, patience, and time. And in the peaceful village of Umuofo, their love story became one that people would tell for many years.